Hello and welcome to Simon's Trading Channel. Happy Saturday to you. Hope you're having a great weekend. If it's half done for you, I hope the next half is fun. If you're working, I hope you're having a good time. So whatever you're doing, I hope you're well. Thank you for joining me for another daily Bitcoin price action analysis. And the price action analysis of today with 4 hours remaining, so the majority of the day of trading done. Of course, it's a weekend. That's quite a small daily candle, i.e. not much volatility. And we'll come on to a bit more detail in a second. But if I just refer to CME's weekly closure, which you can see over there, 68,000. I mean, it's like $200 away from it. So, yeah, it looks like this weekend's going to be a bit of a sleepy one. But, that's all fine. That's all fine. Now, with regards to the price action itself, you can see this kind of daily consolidation still ongoing. And it's still, I had the little blue line on here. I've taken it off because I was doing some other things with the chart. But it was basically at 66.5. That's still holding. And it's been tested a few, was it 66.5 I had it? Or I think I might have had it at 67 actually. But, somewhere between 66.5 and 67. That's still holding as support for Bitcoin. And that's good. Because for this uptrend to continue, you'll be able to see, there needs to be some upside movement, and if there's too much downside movement from this consolidation, well, then things start to look a little bit different. And so, yeah, important times as always important times for Bitcoin to prove itself one way or the other. A lot of the times we get, it's easy to get frustrated with this kind of, what's that? Is that 2 weeks of sideways? This is a daily chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12. Well, it's nearly 2 weeks. It'll be probably 2 weeks on Monday or Tuesday. So it's easy to get frustrated, but you just don't. I just don't really trade in any significant way when the volatility is like this. I mean, if you're scalping on a 1 minute time frame, then yeah, happy days. But that takes a lot of time investment, and it's not that type of trading requires more time investment than I am happy to give up. It's all the same stuff, by the way. It's all just trend recognition and identification of areas to take profit and put your stop losses in. It's all the same thing. Doesn't matter what the time frame you're looking at is. But look at that 5 minute chart. Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing sideways price action, even on a 5 minute chart. Anyway, I'm digressing a bit. I'm not interested in a 5 minute chart. I'm looking at this daily. So yeah, the uptrend is still intact. Don't need the pen. This is consolidating, but above the midpoint of my range, and the daily momentum on the MACD is still to the upside. It's it's edging closer to the zero line, but it's not there yet. If I zoom down to the 4 hour, you can see the low volatility and the size of those candles for the last 48 hours, and it's just the momentum still to the downside on the 4 hour, but only just, and it's not going to take much to shift that momentum back to the upside. I mean, currently it's at sort of 70,000, but if the next move gets it back above, I would say probably back above here, 69,000, I'll probably shift the 4 hour momentum back to the upside. And that, with the daily, then maybe a move to speak of in the direction we'd all like to see it. But until then, there is still more downside pressure on the 4 hour, which would, mean that the next move of significance is likely to be to the downside. And just as I said yesterday, I'd look for some support for Bitcoin. Prepare yourself for a massive range from anywhere between 63,250 to 65,750, call it. There's a big band of support that Bitcoin should be able to grab hold of. The other thing I wanted to show on the daily before I start to wrap up this video was I do like to now and again have a look at the mighty Bollinger Band. Now, the screen will get a bit too busy if I keep everything on, so I'm going to take my range off for now and just chuck a B band on. And the reason why I thought this was interesting, as of the price action at the moment, is that you can see that, so just as by way of a reminder, Bollinger Bands represent both volatility and trend. Basically, the trend is with the 20 SMA, which is this middle line. So that's going up, so is the price. And then the volatility is demonstrated by the top and the lower line. And the further away they are, the wider they are, the more volatile, i.e. the quicker the price is moving in one direction. So that's why the Bollinger Band is so useful, because it represents two things: volatility and trend. Now, as you can see, the Bollinger Band is narrowing in here on the daily, and has been for some time indeed, probably since about here, just eyeballing it. So declining volatility without breaking down too much further is good for Bitcoin, because the overriding trend is to the upside. Then you'd expect that to continue when volatility picks up. But the other interesting thing is where this bottom Bollinger Band is right now. It's coming in at 63,000. And if you remember what I just said when I was referring to the area of support for Bitcoin, if the next move is to the downside, I had 63,250 as the bottom of that. So, that kind of makes sense. What wouldn't look good would be if these narrow in even more. So if you get this sort of thing happening, so you get even more declining in volatility, just like this, and the 20 SMA levels out like this. If price is then below the 20 SMA and the Bollinger Bands start to move down, or start to expand when price is below the 20 SMA, then it's probably going to be a move to the downside. To the dark side, look. A bit like this. I mean, this wasn't a huge increase in volatility, but you can see price was below the midpoint on the Bollinger Band, and then it started to push the bottom Bollinger Band down. That's increasing volatility to the downside. So we'll see what happens. I don't think that's going to happen, but I mean, I can't even predict what the weather's going to do tomorrow. So predicting what Bitcoin's going to do is a fool's errand. Anyway, I think that's all I'm going to say for today. So yeah, 63,000 has got to be a key area. I think there's a few areas of support before Bitcoin gets there, and that's even if the next move is to the downside. If the 4 hour can pick up its heels, pick up its boots, and start to march on up, then clearly the next decent move will probably be to the upside, and then that will provide continuation to the current uptrend, which you can see here. Well, it looks a bit cluttered with the Bollinger Band on, which is why I don't like to have too many things on my chart. I could quite happily trade with nothing on, but I mean, nothing on the chart. Clearly I'd like to have my dignity covered. But horizontal lines I find useful because they're just sort of points of reference or steering points or anchoring points. but you don't need them. Don't need them. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. And if you have, please like and subscribe. And if you haven't, don't come back tomorrow, because it'll be Sundays, which will be the closure of Bybit. We'll see how it compares to where CME closed last night at 68,000. Take care, guys.